problem is. In a sense, we're talking about, and it's what Arthur says. What does he say in the last line? He says, because in the end, a nation's history must be both the guide and the domain, not so much of its historians as its citizens. But I also love the Winston Churchill. The longer you look back, said Winston Churchill, the farther you can look forward.
Yeah.
And in a sense, it's a kind of permission for us to interpret this, to be interpretive. I mean, that reinventing as we go through from with the eyes that we have, that you have, of being particularly in this moment of time, being the people who will have the future much longer than I will be here in the future. That we just basically don't, the human intellect is not able to see the future. We're just not able to conceive of a future that as complex and as varied as it will be. So, and then you know that what we're doing is we're putting this piece up, and 30 years from now, it will be there. The testimony is that what is there now was done 30 years earlier. And so it was from the perspective of that time. So I just thought it was pretty cool for us to think this way, to think a bit about what it means to be interpreters of history, how unique that position is, how we need to inform ourselves on many levels, and also remember that in the prison that is the Great Wall, our own biases matter, right? With academic research, lived experience, particular expert and not so expert opinions, because not expert opinions means that this is the way we see the world from our own emotional lives and psychic lives and physical lives in the time we're living. One segment you want to work on, and it doesn't matter if they're connected, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to go and conceptualize this part a bit further. And then when we come back again, imagine one of the next steps is that we'll have a conceptualized piece, which means that you found either drawings, you've made drawings if you can draw. And incidentally, if you can't draw and you need help with drawing, call on us. I'll come in and help you draw something. Carlos can draw pretty well. I don't know who else draws. Whoever you can self-identify as people who draw. And we'll come and give you a hand. Or use photographic references and start to put it together so that you have a visualization of that segment. We're going to go now to a scale that is bumped up, not 5 inches. So we're getting a little braver. We're going to go up to 10 inches, okay? And 1 inch equaling a foot. And then it'll be about 30 inches long. And we'll create the templates in the computer, or you can do 2 things. I want you to do the template in the computer, but you could start with the templates of drawing and then scan it, and then put it into the computer if you wanted to do it that way with photographic, with drawings as your basis, and then come back to putting the images within it. So now we're going to go and fill it out. So let me just ask people, is it sort of apparent to you where you want to go, or do you want me to assign things, or what do you want to do? Let's ask.
Momentarily, a reporter came to the table, where as chief defendant, I sat with the lawyers. "Here is the decision that you've been waiting for," he said. "Read this release." In anxiety and hope, I read these words. "The United States Supreme Court today unanimously ruled bus segregation unconstitutional in Montgomery, Alabama. My heart throbbed with an inexpressible joy. The darkest hour of our struggle had become the first hour of victory. Someone shouted from the back of the courtroom, "God Almighty has spoken from Washington." The dawn will come. Disappointment, sorrow, and despair are born at midnight, but morning follows.
Great metaphor. The midnight's a great metaphor, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was good.
So amazing.
That was good. That was real
What's really beautiful about it is that now I started to see, when you read that, I'm starting to see Jim Crow, and the crow's coming out of blackness,
Yeah.
of darkness. And I started to see Marcos's piece on King's I Have a Dream turning into daybreak. And I started to see color within the piece using those metaphors.
One of these people was Sal Castro, a high school teacher from Lincoln High School, who kind of represented. He actually had helped the students organize, and he was very much about providing the students with information about who they were as Chicanos, and he was teaching Chicano studies and very forward-looking in that respect. And he was taken out of the classroom because the Board of Education said, well, wait a minute, if he's been accused of felony, we can't have him teaching our kids. And this became a big point of contention within the community, because we said, on the contrary, he's being unjustly accused, and the reason why they're going after him is precisely the reasons why we think that he's a good teacher, that he's trying to give these students a sense of who they are, and a positive sense of being Chicano.